Hello and welcome to the 15th video of the Project Sovereign series. In this video, I'll begin carving out the windows in the saucer top. This is a very work-intensive stage of the project, so let's get started. Now I'm ready to start making the windows on the saucer top. And I was just going to show this little tutorial again, just in case you don't want to watch the other videos where I do windows. I recommend that you watch those, but if you don't want to, then I'm going to show it again. So this model is presenting a huge challenge in the fact that there are compound curves. So it's not just a matter of making these go around this curve. They need to fit around this curve. Now I think I can get away with just doing them vertically because it's a pretty shallow curve after all. And I don't think it's going to distort these cutouts too much. So I'm going to give myself a little break and just care about this curve right here because it's not going to make that much of a difference. Speaking of curves, you see I made this dummy curve right here because I can't follow any of the geometry lines because they're just all over the place. So I want to make sure that these were on an even curve. They weren't all janky, you know, this way and that. So by following this curve, I know that everything's nice and aligned. So now all I need to do is just Boolean these out. So I'll go over that once again. So select this shape and go to Compound Objects, Pro Boolean. I want to click Start Picking, and I want to make sure Imprint is selected because I don't want to carve a hole in this. I want to create an imprint that will be able to be extruded. Also, a great bonus of this imprint is when you do a Boolean just without the imprint, just as a whole. Actually, let me show you. Hopefully it'll work to show what I'm talking about. Sometimes this happens, sometimes it doesn't, but yeah, it didn't really happen this time, at least not that I can really see, but sometimes this geometry disappears, which I don't want to happen because it messes with the smoothing of the model. But again, I don't want this big hole in here. I want to create an imprint. So I click Imprint, Start Picking. And there we go. So just convert to editable poly. Select these. Make sure these are the only ones that are selected. I'm pretty sure they are, but you always want to make sure nothing else is selected that you don't want to extrude because that can create a big mess that's difficult to clean later on. Extrude. And by group is fine. And we're going to go negative 0.05. There we go. I'm going to hit check. Before I do anything else, I want to apply my window material, which now is opaque black. And then I want to hit grow and put a smoothing modifier on here, just so that these edges right here are smoothed out, because they don't do that when they're extruded, so you need to do it. So these are going to be all nice and smooth. So just collapse this. And there you go. So, of course, when I do this for real, I'm going to just attach all of these and then do the Boolean just to make it quicker. But that's a general idea on how to do windows. I'll probably do another demonstration of these on the side because they can get a little bit weirder because now we're dealing with more intense curvature. But for these, I think this is going to look just fine. I'm now starting to create the windows around the saucer edge. And I want to show you a little bit of what I was talking about. So for this window, this set of windows, it's going to be best to do it horizontally as opposed to vertically. But as you can see, there's a problem, and I can actually show you. So let me cut this and do the old Pro Boolean and imprint. And you'll be able to see this window's way too tall. It needs to be a lot shorter. I can actually show you on the reference that I'm using. You can see right here that these are much shorter than what just happened on the model. A bit shorter than these. There's somewhere in between these and these. This ship is very strange in that it has a lot of differently sized windows on it. So part of the fun, I guess. But clearly, these were cut out to be too tall on my model. So there are two things that I can do about it. And one of those things would be to tilt this up so that you see how now its angle of incidence is decreasing. So that can be done, but it's a real pain in the butt because now I have to worry about alignment on this along the edge. I'll have to turn it this way, and you see how it tilts up like that? So then I have to tilt it like this, and it becomes just a real pain. Easier way to do this is to simply modify the blank. So selecting this, now all I have to do is shrink it until I get the size that I like. This is probably pretty good. Again, I want it to be smaller than this, but not by too much. So I can give that a shot. See how this goes. Gonna know these steps by heart by the time these videos are done. And there we go. That's a much better. In fact, I think that might be just what the doctor ordered. Yep, that's a really good size. So I'm going to undo this because I want to just duplicate this. So I don't need to keep resizing it. I'll know that they'll all be the same size. I'll duplicate this just so I can keep it blank and just keep going from there. But yeah, so that's just an easy way to do these windows along this really severe slope right here. So I'll just need to spin them around, duplicate them all the way around the saucer's edge. It's going to be very tedious, so I'm not going to film all of that. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what to do if you run into this circumstance. All right, so I was only able to finish this row of windows this week, so just the top of the saucer top. It's just going to be a lot more work to do the rows beneath here, and also the windows on top of the armor plating. And again, it's just not going to be really interesting to watch, just because it's carving out these things, and I've already showed you how to do that. I also have to do these windows on the cape. I like to call this thing the cape. So it's just going to be a lot of carving out, but we've reached the stage of the model where it's just a lot of tedious, busy work. So hopefully I'll have something better to show next week. I need to solve this phaser strip problem because there's a lot of curvature on this, and again, it's a compound curve. So maybe I'll show how to do the bottom one, which I know how to do because it's flat, next week. But for now, it's just going to be plugging forward with carving windows out on the saucer top. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon.